has there been any changes into your model after the seven-figure mark that you're now glad that you're able to put forward?
I would say the biggest change in looking at it, like our first year we did just under 100. I think it was like 90 and change. Our second year we did just under $1 million. Going into that third year, I've noticed that a lot of our efforts, we were initially understandably reluctant to kind of let some stuff go. Steven just recently, being the marketing guy, just recently allowed someone to take over social media because this is our baby. So I'd say that's our biggest problem, but that's what we're retraining ourselves to focus on. What am I doing that I don't have to do that I can hand off to somebody else? Like, what can I start either training or entrusting in somebody else,
and giving them the ability and the authority to change the process if they want to, if they see an easier way to do it. You know, like through logistics, through cooking, through things like that. We say, hey, this is how we did it before, but we always encourage every employee, if you see another way to do this process or a better way, feel free to go at it and experiment and try, and we'll always keep that view from afar and say, hey, you know, if we see an issue or see them stumbling, here's what we do with fresh eyes to try to, like, you know, we haven't been in it in a while, let's take a look and see what's going on.
As many perspectives as you can get, the better. We're huge on feedback from our members, from our employees, from each other, and I think we really started focusing more on that in this third year, along with putting it out, also getting their feedback, what else they can take, what ideas they have as far as management goes. So it's been interesting to kind of let the business start growing itself almost. People are, you know, hired and we don't even know until they're there and we meet them, because we gave the chef, you know, full responsibility of that, or the logistics guy, same thing. So it's interesting to see these new faces pop up or these changes being implemented because we've given them power.
Or even hiring a CFO.
Yeah.
You know, relinquishing all that. You know, payroll, all the finances, all the payables, everything is, you know, completely handled, you know, where I'm almost like, I don't know what that is.
And when it doesn't work initially, it's hard not to pull it back in. That's our reaction. It's like, forget it, I'll start doing it again. It's like, no, we can't do that, man. Take a step back.
So, you know, it's interesting you said that, because I think this is something a lot of small businesses, suffer from, is they don't know how to add layers to their process and management early enough. And so they become very reactive to the idea of growth, right? So as they find things instead of proactively setting things in place. So as opportunities come, they can scale their business rather than worry about who's going to do the accounting. But, you know, have you guys found that bringing on people like that, especially in positions where they're not necessarily making you money, this is more of an operational standpoint, and yet a CFO typically has a higher salary than just an entry-level employee. How do you guys manage, like, when it's okay for you guys to have made such decisions? Because that's a big responsibility to go and say, hey, I'm going to now offer you a salary and a real position. Has there been anything in your minds that has kind of clicked as the reason why you've welcomed the ability to grow both your internal process that is non-revenue making?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. We actually do it a little bit differently, where more of proving yourself and coming in and working from the bottom is more rewarded than someone that has a title based on, you know, executive status or C-level status. You know, our logistics manager has been with us since the beginning. He's our oldest employee, has the higher salary, runs everything. We run decisions by him. If somebody asks for a raise, you have to convince him. And, you know, our chef, people that have put in the time, the blood, sweat, and tears, proven their path, you know, before we are actually quick to be able to handle or do anything. And that's the mantra of it. You know, we treat it as a family. We treat it like once you're inside this wall, you know, we do anything for you as long as, you know, you have our back, we got yours. You know, we just try to keep it really tight. We always said that, you know, when we started this company, we've all had jobs. We all had jobs we didn't like, that we wanted this to be one of the best jobs they ever had. You know, along from benefits, along from just loving it, but as well as, you know, pay.
So I assume you guys foster talent more than you hire it.
It seems that way.
Yeah, and we're always, we're very, we're very, I guess we encourage personal growth as well. So we always ask people, we're naturally, obviously, entrepreneurial. We try to, you know, like the logistics guy he just mentioned, when he said he's our oldest employee, meaning he's been with us the longest. He's the youngest. Just turned 21.
Yeah.
This kid, you'll be interviewing him on his company in a couple of years. I don't doubt it, but he wanted to do HVAC school, so we looked into doing that and investing in him.
Then he realized he couldn't scale it. And then he was like, you know, able to get out of the business.
Yeah, he likes this. But really investing in them and asking them, one of the things that we do in our interviews, I don't care if I'm interviewing you for, you know, dishwasher. I want to know what else you want to do. Are you interested in learning how to prep cook? Because I can pull you off,
So
having you do some knife work and start, learning some other skills.
Because we found
marketing,
that talent isn't really the real key. We've had some really talented, again, the restaurant business is a whole other business that we've had to learn from. It's a whole other animal, or a fish tank, as we say. That talent doesn't really necessarily prove what they're capable of giving us. They come in with that kind of ego. You come in with that kind of level. It just doesn't work well with our environment.
Yeah, will beat skill.
Yeah.
So explain that a little bit further, because you said talent doesn't prove they can help you. Can you be specific on what you mean by that? Because that's it's usually the opposite of what I hear. Because when someone has talent, real talent, not just a skill in something, they're typically better than most people around them at something, right? So
I would use. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I would say the chefs would probably be the easiest example to give you. We've had, I'll tell you, in about the first 2 years, we went through about 14 chefs. Now we've finally been fortunate enough to find a guy that is awesome, and he shows up. We've had some chefs with some very impressive resumes, guys that have cooked for Trump, guys that went to the CIA, which is a very prestigious school, guys that have opened some major restaurants that you'd know if I mentioned them. The resume is there, but when their heart's not into it, when they're looking at the clock instead of looking at the quality of the meal, when things don't go their way and how they respond to that, the way they treat other people, all of that is what we care about. I don't care how great you are. If you're looking at the clock and looking to get out of here and everything's subpar, your resume is really not going to make that meal any better. It's not going to retain that member.
But it's not always that way. I mean, we've had a few people that have actually had the heart and definitely wanted to try. It just doesn't work that way.
But that's a good example of where they have the ability to, but they don't have the willpower that gets them through. They don't want to contribute. I don't know if they felt like they've done enough, but that's what we've seen. And the guy right now that we have, Fernando, he came recommended, and he wasn't as impressive as some of the other ones.
But he came in as at the
He's
bottom.
made this his. This is his heart. I mean, we used to have to write all the menus because the chefs, as great as they were, they just didn't want to do that because that would be an extra day that they're working instead of...
Yeah, or they would overthink it. They wouldn't want to put anything on there. So again, as customers, keeping that mantra, we just looked at it from that perspective. What would we want to eat? Do we think our people want to eat?
So, and Fernando's really taken it and started making it his own, and it really shows in the food. The team back there, the system, and that's a great example of where, if you were just looking at the resumes or their skill or their talent, you may be misled and, make them...
So since you guys no longer look at just that, like, hey, you have this great track record, you're a great chef, what are the characteristics you look for when hiring a new team member? Outside of just the skill they need for the job, I mean, what are the characteristics you look for the person fitting in the culture?
Passion, drive, and really kind of like a base entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, it actually works real well in that regard.
Yeah, they have to understand, being in a startup, there's a lot of people wear a lot of different hats, and it kind of has to be, we like the people that just don't care. They jump in, they'll do it. We'll jump in and clean the grease trap or take out trash or do something like that. We wash dishes and stuff like that. Whatever needs to be done is the kind of attitude we want. We've had some chefs, they call them desk chefs, where they just kind of want to do the clean stuff. They don't want to clean up after themselves. They don't want to sweat. So that's something we always look for when, especially interviewing a chef, seeing, asking people some ideas or some examples of when they've gone above and beyond in previous, tasks, objectives, jobs, and stuff like that.
Just having a whatever it takes attitude, really is what it comes to.
Because we really want to foster the family community kind of thing. There's no stars. Everyone's equal. Respect each other.
And something that we say often is, this isn't our first and it won't be our last business. Those that are with us there, we look at, okay, this person will be with us on our next one. We want to carry that team and build that team and continue to just do whatever we do. No matter if
we're making a team of people, why not?
Even if we change and we start making salt rock lamps,
Hey guys, Pejman Gademi here, founder of Entourage.com, author of the bestseller Dirt Circle Theory. I'm coming to you today because so many of you have asked me, why did you create Secret Entourage and what is it really about? 2,000 plus articles, 300 plus videos, live mastermind teachings, and the support of 30,000 plus people. We know how to motivate, inspire, and educate people because we've done it for quite some time. We are not just wealthy, we're educators for change. Welcome to Secret Entourage.